The ammo collection used to just sit on top of a cabinet, and it was overflowing. I was going on the road and collecting, going to gun shows and stuff, and I would bring stuff home and throw it on the pile. Bring stuff home and throw it on the pile. So what I did, since the pile was overflowing, is put the pile into these drawers. And what we're going to do in this series of videos is explore the drawers. So let's get to it. Just put away this last one. So we just looked at an orange drawer, the second orange drawer in the second of our videos here. Well, the third orange drawer just has this in it, and it's just a piece of plastic that, what's this plastic all about, you might ask? Well, let's say we had two 50 BMGs, we might be able to set them down in here. What? Just like that. What? Yeah, this would go in and be between each layer of 50 BMGs in some sort of situation. I forget where I got this from. I thought they went in back and forth. I guess this goes in between as a layer goes down so that they don't knock into each other back and forth. Anyway, thought it was neat. Real heavy plastic. It's about twice as thick of mils as the MRE container, maybe. Maybe 1.5 as thick as the MRE container. Alright, so we're going to go down to the last drawer of orange options here. Orange drawer number 4. This is a weird drawer, so let's take a picture of it. Alright, so what had happened is I had put my ammo collection on top of this cabinet, and it had started to overflow. And I also have a little thing of parts drawers, like screw drawers that you organize screws in, and had a bunch of ammo in there. As you can imagine, having shotgun shells doesn't lend itself to being in drawers. It needs more physical room. So that's what this is a bunch of the stuff that was large and got all stuck in this gallon Ziploc bag. I can tell you how many times this Ziploc bag, it never actually fell off the cabinet, but it tried to bunches of times. It just did not like living on the top of the cabinet. Some of this other stuff was crammed into drawers or just laying around, and it all got stuck into this, the fourth of the orange drawers. So first thing we got is the Glock stress ball. So, or the Glock hand grenade, excuse me, made out of a Glock stress ball. Got a case, half of the 40 chalk round, probably 40 millimeter, and it's a 38 short Colt. We just posted a video, or we edited a video a while back. It just posted about a reloader for these things. Then we got some other stuff. So we've got a couple of the 37 millimeter fireworks, I think is all these are. And then we have a couple of different shells sitting here, shotgun shells. So this one is interesting. Use in 20 gauge guns only. Rustless, high velocity. It's got a little bit of rust on there. But that's an interesting 20 gauge. Got a some kind of I don't know what that's supposed to be saying. 2 buck? 2 BB? I don't know. But anyway, some kind of heavy 12 gauge. You can see the rounds in there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them through the camera. And then, or the BBs in there. And then we got a number 4 steel shot, it looks like. So just some random 12 gauges in there. Yeah. Then this is not a 12 gauge or anything else. This is a thumb drive from Aguila. Looks like it's still in good shape after a bunch of years too. That's kind of neat. And then we got a big gallon baggie full of shotgun shells. Shall we go through them all? Yeah, why not? A door breacher. It's always fun. Super heavy. Wonder what's in there. That's a big one. So this is a 10 gauge that we have signed by let's see, Chad and Eric and Barry and Brandy and somebody else. So when we were out hanging out with Eric on their Halloween shoot that year, we were shooting some trees with their 10 millimeter or their 10 gauge, and they signed that spent case. This is some 12 gauge brass, super cool. This one looks like it could probably be a blank or something. There's still something going on in that one. Here's another 10, but this one's loaded up. 3-inch 10. Wouldn't want to be sitting behind that. Although, that's what I guess this was too, a 3-inch 10. Alright, we got another 12 here, a 3-inch 12. 3.5-inch 12. I like these clear ones, they're super neat. This is a bunch of buck, with mostly copper and one steel shot in there. It's weird. Here's the same thing except with a big slug in there. You can see it. This is super cool. You know what this is? This is the insides of, was it Fiocchi made the thing that had like a couple of buckshot and then glow in the dark. This is the glow in the dark part of that thing. I might have the shell in here. This is another projectile thing. That's, I don't know what's going on here. It's got a bunch of shot in it, and it's inside a plastic. So, some kind of sample from SHOT Show, more than likely. This here is a snap cap, I believe, for a 20 gauge. This would be a, kind of a presentation thing. Teddy Roosevelt Sportsman's Challenge 2009 from NRA. So it's like the size of a 12 gauge, literally, but like just a little bit smaller. But it's not a snap cap, and I don't know. I guess it's cool, but seems like somebody's gonna shove it in a gun. That's another brass one. This is just an old paper 00 buck. Pretty neat. If you like old shotgun shells, some people don't. So I'm pretty sure this came from a collection. I have a bunch of different ones here. So this one is a number 32, 14 millimeter. So I guess a 32. This one says, this one's a 20, number 20, Nitro Club, Remington UMC, paper cartridge. What does that say, proof? Well, this is proof cartridge. So you wouldn't want to play around with that. Rubber buckshot, big fan of this stuff. This is the one I open up all the time and look at them. A bunch of little rubber BBs, buckshots in there basically. So what is this? This is a 410 paper shell from Western. Here's a little short paper one, like you thought those short ones were new. Nope. This is probably, well, at least as old as all these other paper ones. Here's another one of those glow-in-the-dark inserts. That other one had been lit up before. This one still has its glass thing unbroken. There's a regular 410, just to show 410, I think. A couple of the little shorts. I think they're both the same. So these are the short 1-inch shot shells. Let's see, just a plain old slug. What's going on here? Another 410 unspent one. So actually this stuff here, if I remember right, was the fancy stuff that is, maybe not. I thought maybe this was that fancy stuff made for the judge. I don't think it is. Another weird projectile from a Russian company, now that I'm thinking about that. Another one of those clear ones, all smashed up. Another issue with shotgun ammunition that no one ever likes to talk about because they're afraid to talk about how this stuff can get mangled real easy. There's an 8 gauge. So a lot of people think that your 12 gauge 3.5 inch is so big, or that your 10 gauge is so much bigger. But how about an 8 gauge? Look at that 8 gauge next to that 12. Come on. Serious? That's an 8 gauge paper shell. So that's what your grandpa was shooting out of guns that somebody carved out of a solid chunk of Pennsylvania steel. Let's see, so we got some more rubber buckshot. The weight of these things is crazy, so being able to fiddle with these things is a whole nother experience than just looking at them. This is a super fancy copper slug. It looks like that thing would just, if it ever got to the deer, it would eat just a big chunk out of the side of the deer. Some more brass cases. I'm a big fan of these, so I like to have them, I guess. that's neat. This one fell into. This one tried to eat a extra long range 16 gauge, but that is plastic. That's super neat. That thing is super heavy too. Another 18 gauge. That's super cool. So this was a collection that I grabbed because it had, this includes a collection that I grabbed because it had a selection of those. Like this, though, is a snap cap I've had since I was a little kid. So this is definitely a collection of a lot of stuff in here. All of these were from a $10 ammo collection I remember buying at a Tucson gun show because I really wanted one of these, and I got the whole box, the whole cigar box collection for $10, and it had all of those in there. Alright, we're down to the last couple. Another decent buckshot. Clear buckshot. This is another dummy round. So the difference between a dummy round and a snap cap, wherever that snap cap went. Snap cap typically has something that can deal with the primer or the firing pin, something to push the firing pin into. This is a sacrificial piece of plastic there that I don't even know if it ever actually is to be replaced. It's just a different type of plastic. A lot of them will have a spring plunger so that it'll last a lot longer. Like this one has a spring plunger, so you can take this thing apart and replace the spring or the plunger or whatever. And this will take a firing pin. This is designed to absorb the energy from the firing pin over and over. This is a dummy round. It has nothing for the firing pin, so your firing pin is basically going to hit nothing. This is just there to indicate which end, to be manipulated and to fit in the chamber. But this weighs almost nothing, and it's designed to look wrong. Looks empty. And again, this is just designed for manipulations, for engagement, other kind of training where you need to manipulate a firearm but you don't need live rounds, to act as live rounds in a gear or something where you need to emulate everything but the weight, I guess. Although this could be the same as a hunting round or something. But anyhow, this is a dummy round is designed to be used in training, where a snap cap is really just designed to be stored in the firearm and designed to be used for cleaning or testing or something where you're going to be absorbing, when you want to absorb the energy from a fragile or expensive firing pin. We got a 12 gauge, big old honkin' 12 gauge is the way they call it in the hills. Regular 12 gauge, just an old paper one. It's difficult to, well, not for me, but it's difficult for some people to stay in one place with some of these collections because there can be so much variety. So here's a Buckshot version of a 1-inch shell. And once you start collecting variety or type or brand or color or pick a characteristic and you start pursuing it, it can be really difficult to stop when you get into shotguns. There's a lot of stuff in all ammo, but shotguns just lend themselves to having a lot of stuff done with them. Another hunting hollow point, taking a massive bite out of whatever it might eventually get to. So yeah, that's a whole bunch of shotgun shells. I'll take another quick photo from the top here. Kind of an interesting picture there. And I think I'll put everything back in the bag, should I? I don't know. Guess what happens if I just knock everything out? One of the dilemmas not dilemmas, but one of the things to think about or be an issue is how to display, how to deal with a collection. So for something like this, how would you display it in a way that is effective and doesn't damage anything and it's interesting. Actually, this is going to end up being a pretty decent option, I think. I might not take all the time in the world to sort it completely, but yeah, this actually is a pretty decent way. If these drawers were better, this would be a lot better. But I know one of the reasons I'm not all that interested in pursuing this too much is I know that it's not going to last in this drawer very long. And this is super risky. This will spill out of here very easily. And a unfortunately, it's got all the incentive to spill out of here because the drawer doesn't work good. Alright, well, I ended up sorting this a bunch anyway. I don't know if you saw that coming. Put these down here like this so you can see the cool sides. Problem is all these 12s getting in the way. Alright, well, so I am not going to finish this, but you get the idea. That would actually be pretty good. I think I'll leave the baggie in here, though, in case I change my mind in the future. Or when they spill out all over and I start swearing. I've got a bag to put everything back in. So we'll say farewell to the orange drawers. And now let us know in the comments what color drawers we should head into next. We got blue, green, purple, and red. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments which one of the videos in this series you like best. So let us know what you think. We'll be watching the comments wherever you find the video, over on gunstreamer.com or on guntube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourages you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.